My whole system crashed that time. It's making me wonder if it's actually my GPU and maybe it's not the CPU that I've got overclocked. I might need to increase the voltage on it. It could be that. If I continue to see this happening, I'm going to increase the voltage to 1.37 in the BIOS instead of 1.36, I think. Actually, I'm just gonna do that anyways. Nice. What? Okay. Thank you for that. I think I'm gonna endlessly fall right now. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting I have a feeling that it might be the CPU that's crashing. Cuz it's never crashed this much before. I mean, it has crashed this much before, but only when it crashed this much before, like way when I first started streaming this game. So and then I got everything stable, and I've reduced the clocks on my GPU and on my on the memory and the core to where I feel like it should be fine. So I think right now the CPU's been running for a while. Looking at its temps and everything, I have a very strong suspicion that the CPU's probably crashing. I think the CPU's probably causing the crash. So I'm gonna go into the BIOS, I think, and just adjust the temps on that. But yeah, this game is making it hard on me for sure. It's supposed to be more stable too. But the thing is, I've made the CPU stable. Like that's why I did like Cinebench and like did like 5 passes with the CPU. Although it probably wouldn't hurt to give it an extra bit of voltage. I mean, I could go all the way up to 1.4 volts instead of just 1.36. So I am being a little stingy with it, and more voltage will make it more stable. Like that's a known fact. But the higher the voltage also, the more you degrade the hardware. But overall, it's not that big a deal, regardless. Like as long as it's below 1.4 volts or equal to that, then you're gonna. Oh shit! Oh shit! Anyways, as long as it's below 1.4 volts or lower, then like a CPU has like a life between 10 to 12 years. Usually under like, if it's just constant max load, it's like well, average load in regular work, like a workstation CPU. The life is around 10 to 12 years, give or take. So when you take that into consideration, they say that if you're running your CPU at 1.4 volts or higher, then it will reduce the CPU's lifespan between 20 to 30%. So if it's hitting 10 years, then instead of 10, it's got 8 years of life. That's I don't plan on keeping a CPU for longer than probably 3 or 4 years at a time anyways. Like when the 6000 series comes out, or if Intel has something good that comes out, I probably won't switch to Intel. I'll probably stay with AMD though. I think they're gonna surpass Intel as far as CPUs go. Intel's a little bit behind, but who knows? I could be wrong. But I'm going to, once the 6000 series comes out, I'll probably end up getting the 8-core 6000 series. And when the 4000 series GPUs come out, I'll probably get one of those too. And in anticipation of that, I'll probably end up getting like the new motherboards that come out that support DDR5 RAM. That's just me though. And then eventually I'll just, the extra hardware that I have, I'll either sell it or I'll build a system and then sell it as a gaming system or something for a profit. Because it looks like the future of PC hardware, it looks like scalpers are going to get in on it. And the good news is that I know where to go to beat the scalpers if need be. In fact, after I get some more money saved up, I could actually buy like a few bits of stock. I'd love to be a distributor and sell some GPUs at MSRP, or I'd love to be a distributor for EVGA and Asus, and for AMD CPUs. That would be freaking awesome. I would love to do that. Anyways, hold on. I'm going to be right back. Let me go to the bathroom. But overall, yeah, I have a very sneaking suspicion that now that the CPU's been running for a long time on a pretty heavy, moderate load, I'm seeing it probably it's probably starting to lose its stability, because I was running short-term max load stress tests. This is like a good long-term stress test, especially with Cyberpunk being as unstable as it is. Oh wow, I got some level ups. That was kind of quick. What could I even get? I guess increasing my stamina would be something. Uh, Level 20 in athletics plus 1% per perk level. Interesting. I love off-road. Sweet. Yes. And thanks for everybody for sticking around and watching, even though the game keeps freaking crashing. But just looking at it, because I dropped some of my memory clocks and I dropped my core clock, and the game was stable for a long time like that, I really think that the only difference is the fact of the new CPU in there. Right now it's at 75 degrees. The GPU's at 70, so that's great. That's fine. That's normal. I think I do need to increase the voltage a bit. I don't know if 1.37 would be good or just straight up or just go ahead and go 2 points and do 1.38. I could probably do 1.4 and clock at the 1.73 even, but I think 4.7 all cores is good. If I can get that stable, I'll be very happy. All right. Cool. Ah. Oh crap. Shit. Ray tracing. Okay. So ray tracing uses a different type of shit. It's a lot more intensive processing than regular rasterization in graphics, because it's also slower, so it can't clock as high as regular rasterization. So that's why you see NVIDIA cards not clocking as high, as AMD graphics cards go, but then the ray tracing's better. But it just simulates shadows and light more realistically than what games already do. Like God rays, how light reflects off of surfaces as well, how it bends. It's just more intensive. Alright, now I have to say the right thing. Ooh. How'd he die? So the thing with the ray tracing also is that it measures light when it hits surfaces in a more realistic way, so that it actually it gradually disappears over distances as well, where how light would react. So it comes to like a point. Whereas like normal non-ray tracing, you'd have light hit a surface, you'd have reflection on it, and then you'd have the shadow, but you wouldn't have that like halo around it so much, or have it fade. It's just a more realistic way of doing it. More realistic reflections, more realistic shadows, more realistic physics in that aspect. And it requires a lot more computational processing than the predecessor of rasterization before it. But it's not implemented in a lot of games yet. It's definitely the future of games. Cyberpunk is the first game that really has implemented it in a way that's really shows it at its finest, and along with DLSS too, it really shows that off as well. But it's definitely the future of physics as far as lighting and shadows goes in games. But I mean, this generation of graphics card, AMD graphics cards, this is the first generation that has ray tracing cores. ray tracing cores in the NVIDIA graphics card, it's only the second generation. The 20 series was the first graphics cards to introduce that. So it's very early in implementation in games. It's definitely going to be implemented more and more, that's for sure. So I think we're going to see it. This is a good transitioning watts. I'm using an 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply, but my system is probably like a total power draw. Let's see, probably around like 270, 260 on the GPU. Let's see, all the fans probably extra 100, so at 3, let's see, so extra 100, just say 400 there, 5, probably between 5 to 600 watts of total system draw at max. At peak system draw, probably 5 to 600 max power system draw. Closer to 5 than 6 though. More than likely it's probably hovering around like between 350 to 450 usually. It might spike in the 500s though. I doubt that it goes beyond 600. Although I could use a wattage calculator to I like using Outer Vision. I think that's the best wattage calculator. I guess I need to focus on fighting, maybe. Also crafting. Let's see. I do need to increase my intelligence too, because there's so much stuff I need to increase. I guess the reflexes are okay. I guess maybe focusing on, I hate to focus on specific stuff in this particular one. But at the same time, I can always cheat. Let's see. Ozob. Alright, I'll fight Ozob. I'll just I'll drop a weapon in the ring and beat them with it. That's fine. If I was doing a more crowd density, yes, it is a very heavy CPU title for sure. It hits like, I mean, my all cores are clocked at 4.7 gigahertz, and it's hitting CPU usage between 40 to 60% at all times, sometimes higher than that. Crowd density though is set to high. I have it on max. I actually don't have ray tracing on at all, because I have to turn DLSS on. And when I turn that on, I can turn it on. I could actually do ray tracing if I was not using the streaming software. I could have ray tracing on ultra, and I could run DLSS on quality, and I'd hit like 50 or 60 FPS at all times. But like, say if I did that, I see how I get screen tearing. Yeah, well then the city is too empty. I don't like that. It's not gonna make a difference because my CPU, like, my CPU's not maxing out. It's only hitting like 50 or 60%. It's that's not the issue. It's crowd density. It's handling that fine. It's with scaling that's the issue. Because DLSS, what it does is it takes certain parts of the game and it downscales them, so it's not native 1440p. It will downscale them to like 720 or 1080 or whatever, or a fraction of it, and some parts of it, and leave the other parts 1440, so it can make up the difference. It'll increase your FPS, and then you can implement ray tracing. So that's what deep learning super sampling does. But the issue is that because of the streaming software, what it's doing is taking the game and it's downscaling the game already to 720 at 60 FPS. It's condensing it, and then it's uploading it to YouTube as a live stream. And when I have DLSS activated, it's poorly optimized. It's on the developers for that. I think I might be able to do something. I might with the streaming software to change that, but yeah, it's off. So the thing, I'm going to change the base canvas to 720 just to make it easier on it. And I'll try DLSS then. But until then, I just can't do ray tracing. But that's alright. I can have everything else on, and it's alright. I mean, I guess maybe if I drop screen space reflections down the eye, I could maybe pull it off. Let's see. And I drop the reflections off. I might actually be able to pull it off. Let's see if I get any tearing with that. It actually might. It's pretty close. Matter of fact, I might actually. You know what? That might have fixed it. I might just do that. Let's see if I can. If I leave that on high, let's see, turn ray tracing reflections on. Let's see, drop that down the balance. Let's see how it does. So far it's all right. But the other thing you have to consider is I'm not seeing any screen tearing right now, which is great. But it's not, there's no NPCs anywhere. So if I enter a situation where there's a lot of NPCs, then it could affect the DLSS downscaling. But it looks like it's or maybe it was just too much. I didn't have enough VRAM. Maybe it was exceeding the maximum amount of VRAM. I don't know. But that one thing I just changed, it looks like I'm actually able to run it now. The question would be, though, if I have a bunch of... Let's see, so... Let me see if I can find a spot with a lot of lights and stuff, so you can just, like, see the difference in... right over here, I think, would probably be a good representation. Alright, let's see if I can... Maybe I can figure that out. Okay. So, let's see. So let's see if we can see a difference here with all the lights and everything. Let's go down here. I'm going to turn ray tracing completely off, and I will turn DLSS completely off. So you can see that now. See if you can notice the difference. Yeah, this might not be the best spot to show it, but I'll do it anyways, just so you can see. So that's with ray tracing on. Let's see. It's maybe not the best. This is not the best. I need to be inside a building. Maybe by the water. No. That's not a good representation of ray tracing. Let's see. This is a terrible location to show you what ray tracing does. Let's see. Okay, maybe right here. Yeah, I think that this might be good. Okay, so notice like the ground, how the light hits the street, the tunnel, how the light affects the tunnel. Yeah, it's a lot smoother. But the lighting and the shadows are what you want to see. Okay. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn ray tracing off now and have DLSS on balanced. Yeah, I'll do that. Alright, so there's without ray tracing on. You should be able to see a difference. So there's no ray tracing on right now. Alright. So now... Okay, no ray tracing. No... Alright. And now I'll go down. Let me turn ray tracing on. I'll turn all that up. And that's ray tracing on. So you should be able to see a difference. It's the shadows. The shadows are more defined. They're more, if you look like along the gutter here, there's more reflection. There's better reflection, like light refraction. It's just different. So that's off. And then this is on. It's just more realistic. So that's on, and then on, and then one last time I'll show you. This is off. It's just a lot more duller, and not as, you know, bright where it needs to be and darker where it needs to be. There's darker darks and brighter. They're whiter whites and blacker blacks. It's really subtle, and it's but it's there's a lot of extra computations in that. There's literal cores dedicated to that. Nice money. All right, so let's see. Yeah, ray tracing's on. I can look at this and no, wait, let me make sure. I think it's on. I think it's on. Let me see. No, it's off. See, you can't even tell the difference. Okay, yeah, now it's on. I can tell by the reflection there. Yeah. I definitely can tell the difference there. Let me see. Maybe trying to also, I wish there was more lighting so you could see like the edge of the shadows too. Okay, so maybe this would be a good representation here. Right, so there's that. This is not a good area for it either. Let me see. Maybe this flickering light over here and this. Okay, yeah, maybe this would be a little bit better. I think maybe. All right, so let's see. Okay, off. I can't tell the damn difference, honestly. I can tell with the reflections. The reflections, I can tell the difference. Yeah, it definitely is. Let's see, so I think that's off. Let me see. So on is this. This is not an accurate it's hard to. Oh wait, maybe actually, The steps actually might be right here. Actually, I think is a good. Okay, the reflection on the steps. I think this is a good way to show you what it does. How the light bounces and there's whiter whites and darker darks. Let's see if I can see a difference here. So let me turn it off. Yeah, okay. There's a much bigger difference. As you can see, it's more just dark. It's just more plain. So this is off. So that's off, and then this is on. Yeah, that's huge difference there. Now that is a better representation. You can see where light is supposed to curve around corners and that kind of thing. That's where this is a good representation of it on these stairs right here. From the light coming from that sign above it. And so that's on. Now this is off. See, now it's just all one color. It's not as realistic. And then turn it back on, you can really see a difference. Yeah, that's a better representation of it. And like here too, I suppose. So that's on. This is off. Yeah, there's definite difference. But it's so small, it's so subtle that you really wouldn't notice a difference, honestly, unless you knew exactly what to look for. Yeah. And it's all about the measurement of light, just curving around corners and just being more realistic and gradually how light bends. There, like I said, there's specific cores in the graphics card that only are there to process this specific lighting and effects. But then you could also do this. You can turn the ray tracing off, and then you turn DLSS off. So then take a look at it in no ray tracing on, but in full native 1440. That looks really good too. Now the detail of the steps looks the best overall, but the lighting isn't as good. Or if I could combine the two, then it would be absolutely gorgeous. But then my frames are in like the low 20s now. But that's the best of both worlds right there. You can really see the details of the steps and stuff. But then when I turn DLSS on, which affects the resolution, now it's not as detailed, but it has to make up for it. So, but maybe with these settings, honestly, I think it looks, I personally think that the game looks the best to me with ray tracing off and DLSS turned off. To me, it's just how it looks to me. I think it looks the best like that. Now the lighting isn't as good. I will say that. There's but like as far as details go, the details are the best in my opinion. The lighting isn't as good, but I guess it's a matter of what you'd prefer. Better like sharpened details or better lighting. But dropping that down to high, and let's see. that to medium, and this to quality. Let me see. That's probably... That's a fair, even kill. And then also you can see how it kind of reflects off of the surfaces and that kind of stuff. But when you're in motion, you really don't notice it. Let's see, maybe backed up. Okay, so that's with ray tracing on. And then let's turn it off one last time and take a look at the whole view of everything. Yeah, it's a lot duller. And if you look right there, you can even see how instead of, it's like, to make up for the shadows, it's like dark right there. Look at the difference in this area right in here. It's off right now. Now when I turn it on, you really see the difference in the distance too when it's off. So when I turn it on, there's a huge difference there. Instead of it being like grainy, as the farther it goes back, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a difference because you're seeing 720. I'm seeing 2K. So 1080 is twice as many pixels as 720. 1440, I think that's twice as many pixels as 1080. I think that's what it means. I could be wrong. I believe that's how it's scaled. I think. I could be wrong there. It might be 4 times as many pixels as 1080. I don't know. I haven't looked up the scaling. But the difference here, if you look right in this area of the reticle, there's ray tracing on. And with ray tracing off, you can definitely see a difference. It's almost like grainy right in there. Like in the distance, it's grainy. And you zoom in, you don't see that anymore. But that's when it's off. Like it's almost like there's a grid pattern where the shadow is. It's like a grid kinda. But that's ray tracing off. And then if I turn it, oh there, look, ray tracing off. See how it's like, I don't know, like sparkly, but it's not natural. So ray tracing off, and when you zoom out, you can really see it. Now if I turn it on, it'll be a lot smoother, and you'll see where the light is supposed to be. So turn it on, and then you look at it, and now it's not all grainy right there anymore. And when I zoom in, look, the water has better reflection. You can see the edge. You can see the lights reflecting. Everything's smoother. Lights smoother. And that's the difference. So, yeah. So, oh yeah, you can, especially at night. At night in this game, that's when you really see ray tracing. Like the reflection on the ground right here. See, like this. So that's ray tracing on. If I turn it off, you can see it. It's a huge difference. See how much dull, it's so much duller. And then the water, see how dull the water is, and then the light reflection there. Now if I turn it back on, nighttime's when you really see the difference. Huge difference at night. See, look, you can, now there's a reflection in the water, and look, now you see all the like scratches in the concrete and all that. So that's with the ray tracing on and all that. Nighttime's when you really see it. And then if I turn it back off, now you can see, look, the scratches aren't as prominent, and look, there's no reflection at all in the water. And then in the distance, it's almost like the shadow is grid. It's like a grid. It's grainy. I don't know how to describe it other than that. Also here, look, there's another difference. See that? See that light? It's like not even, see, it's So if I turn it back on, actually, I know what's causing that. Where is it? Volumetric fog. Turn it on ultra. I think that's what fixes it. No, it's not fog. Hold on. I know it. I know which one is. I think I know which one it is. Let's see. Turn that back down. It's probably that. I think. Oh, you know what? I know exactly what it is. It's DLSS itself. So turn ray tracing off, and then I turn DLSS off. It's just cleaner. It cleans it up. It's still there, but anyways. So yeah, that's when so they're definitely it's not as good as it can get yet. But you can see where the technology is heading. It's definitely going to be really impressive in the future. Like next generation, like the 4000 series, like a 4070 or a 4080. I mean, well, a 3080 is 30% more performance than a 3070. That's what I have. So if you think of it like that, and a 3090 is 45% more performance. See, here's I have ray tracing on now. You can see the dirt, the ground, the light, the reflection. So the next generation, 2 years is when you're really gonna see some amazing lighting and all that. But oh yeah, here, where the ground looks wet almost, and the lights. So there you go. That's ray tracing for you. And also like the God rays. See how the God rays, the reflection on the screen like that? You can like see the God rays. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Or yeah, and then here's another good example of ray tracing. Night time's when you see it though. Daytime, it doesn't really show it too much unless you're like in a tunnel or something like that. But at nighttime, yeah, you can really see it. But as another interesting thing is that the game now is not freaking out. So I wonder if I can keep the ray trace settings like it is. I'd love to be able to do that. Let's see. Ultra. Maybe I can pull ultra off. No screen tearing. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Let's see what happens if I lose DLSS. It probably, yeah. Unplayable. But if I'm not moving, then it's almost too shiny though at that point. But yeah, so there you go. Actually, maybe I can leave this on. 'Cause it looks good. $7A1C55. Damn. He got me. I wasn't even planning on finding the cyber psycho. Let me make sure that's on. Okay. So, you know what? I think the issue might have been that the VRAM, I was using too much VRAM on my GPU. It was exceeding that. And that's why I was getting the screen tearing. Because after I turned the screen space reflections down, and use the ray trace reflections, then that superseded. Anyways, I didn't exceed my VRAM, and now it seems fine. Now that could change after it renders more NPCs, but as of the moment, it would appear that it's all right. Due to the failure to uphold the terms of agreement, failure to respond to letter of demand for outstanding payment in accordance with paragraph 628 of the aforementioned agreement, the real property shall become the property of Zetatech within 2 days of receipt of this document. Okay. Underpass near the gym. Some homeless folks have been disappearing there. I'd say it's a toss-up between the animals or the voodoo boys, but the attack one witness described was brutally horrific, and more importantly, there was only one attacker. Okay. $55,781C. E9. Damn. He's totally took me out. Alright, you know what? I'm, what time is it? I think, that'll be good. How much VRAM? Okay, so The one thing I don't like about the 3070s is that they only have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which is not great for future proofing. So the RTX 3080s have 10 gigabytes of VRAM, so that's why everybody likes the 3080s. The AMD graphics cards, all of them have 16 gigabyte of VRAM. So that's what's holding the card back. The 2080 Ti, the best 20 series card, has 11 gigabytes of VRAM, just to give you an idea. But that's a $1,200 card. So the VRAM is what holds this card back, among other things. It's but it's using GDDR6 memory too. So 3080s, 3090s use GDDR6X, but all the AMD cards use GDDR6 as well. The GDDR6X memory isn't good at overclocking though. You only get like a 3 to 4% overclock on 3080s. They're already the processor die is already just about maxed out, as good as it can get. So the crazy thing is that right now also we're seeing Silicon just about hitting its max possible performance right now, which is pretty interesting. They're gonna have to start using something besides Silicon pretty soon, because Silicon is just about hitting its max performance of what it can do. And in case you didn't know, Silicon is sand. But yeah, 8 gigabytes of VRAM is the same that is in a 2070 Super. It's what's in a 2080. It's what's in a 2080 Super. 2080 Ti. The workstation cards for like graphic design and stuff, like a Titan RTX card, I think they have 12 gigs of VRAM. I think that's what it is. A 1080 Ti has 10 gigs of VRAM. So I really wish they would have put 10 gigs of VRAM into the 3070. That would have made this an amazing card. The fact that they only put 8 really holds it back. But it's still an incredible piece of technology for what it does. I mean, it's outperforming a 2080 Ti in a lot of cases. And it's, you know, has, well, in some aspects it's better, some aspects it's not, but at less than half the price, well, not anymore. It used to be less than half the price of a 2080 Ti. So that was great. Now it's Strix is like $830, I think. And yeah, an FTW3 is $670, so that's terrible. Oh yeah, people are paying like $900 or $1,000 for 3070s right now, so the fact that I paid half that price is awesome. I can't believe Nvidia and all the board partners decided, now that they've, with the stock shortage and everything, screwing the consumer over, and also the fact that they decided that they were going to sell, I mean, it's a bottom line thing too. They make more money if they just sell massive amounts of all the cards to miners, to cryptocurrency miners that buy, you know, pallets of the cards at a time and have big server farms just running it, because cryptocurrency is shot back up to $40,000 for Bitcoin or whatever. I don't know. So they are selling all of that, so the regular consumers are getting screwed over. Now that all the demand's been met for all the crypto mining guys, and the demand's gone down from them, they're like, well, we can still make more money. because they bought it at a discount by buying all those cards. Let's make our money back on the discounts, even though they still made a ton of money, by increasing the price of cards, because the demand is still there. People still want the cards, and so they just increase the price. It'll probably drop back down, like, probably after the summer, or maybe like August. It might drop back down to its original MSRP. Or maybe not even till fall, who knows. But point being, anybody who's building a PC right now, I would tell them, or who's thinking about building a PC, I would tell them, do not build a PC right now. If you're going to you're better off buying a pre-built PC. That's how bad the market is right now. That would be my advice. Do not build a PC for the next 3 to 4 months. The cutoff for that would be getting a card at the lesser MSRP, or getting in a queue and paying for that lesser MSRP. That was the cutoff. As soon as the price increased on all the cards, I would say that no longer it's viable, because also the price of motherboards is going up too. So it's sad. It's a sad thing. And then also, nobody can get 5000 series CPUs. The 5600X I got it for MSRP for $300. I still know where they get it for $300. If you go on Newegg, the cheapest you're gonna find it, if it's in stock, which it's not, is $385, I think. Amazon, it's $385. Maybe Newegg's a little bit cheaper, $375. That's insane. That's like almost, what, 30% price increase? And most people, that's what they're going to pay for it. So, anyways, yes, I would wait. If you're going to build a PC or whatever, wait till wait till it's actually in stock. Wait till you can go into a Best Buy and you can say, hey, do you have any 3070s or 3080s? And they're like, yeah, we've got some on the shelf. Until that point comes, do not build, well, at least until it's in stock online, at least somewhere. And I would say ultimately wait till the price goes back down to the original MSRP, because $700 for a 3070 is not a good price anymore. And they're sold out of all the 20 series cards now too. Everybody's like, well, I can't get any 30 series, I need a 20 series. They stopped making the 20 series to make 30 series, so everybody is like panic buying. So now all the 20 series are depleted, and so the only thing you can find is 10 series. It's really upsetting. Anyways, so I'm going to end with that. I think, let me see, what time is it? Yes, it's late. I need to get up. I need to do some video editing. I've got a bunch of videos I got to finish. Thanks for hanging around. I did have to, this stream was also about fixing stuff. I got my sound fixed, so that's awesome. I totally forgot about that. So now I can yell really loud, or I can whisper really quietly, and the sound stays the same. So I've got that compression going. I've also got noise suppression, so my whistling deviated septum isn't heard. And then I've also got compression on, or noise gate for my whistly nose. And then I've got a compression so that I can yell or whisper and it stays the same. And then I've got a noise gate, a compression on the audio from the game as well. So whenever I talk, the volume goes down so my voice is louder than the game, and then as soon as I stop talking, the volume increases back up. So great stuff. Glad I fixed it. I solved the issue, got rid of the crappy driver that was screwing things up. My VLC player works again, so I can actually do video editing, which is really important. So yes, I made some very important discoveries today, and I guess I need to make a few changes to make my CPU just a little bit more stable. So I'm gonna increase the voltage to probably 1.38 instead of 1.37. Just be on the safe side and pop it up to 1.38. Maybe we'll see. But alright, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. I will be streaming back tomorrow. I will try to start at 7 o'clock, but knowing me, I won't start till 9 or 10 because something's going to happen and it's going to end up holding me back. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate everyone watching. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And I'll see you again soon. Thanks.